Alright, fuckfaces, welcome back to Practicing Portraits on artwod roadmap. Right, artwod, link in description, being the best learning platform to learn drawing from imagination. Right, that was a good intro. I'm not a dick writer. I am a dick writer. I'm not a affiliate. I'm a shill. Right. If you're wondering what my current drawing from imagination capabilities are, well, I'm not done this, but this was my what I've been doing on my last streams. Ta-da! Right. Wow, how did you do this? Because I've been doing this for fucking 60 hours, right? Like trying to create hard surface shapes. Is that really how it translates over? Yes, yes it is. Things translate over, right? So there you go. I aim to prove that anybody can draw. I've been drawing for 3 years and 4 months, right? So I started November 1st, 2022, and yes. With that being said, get your pen, get your paper, let's fucking draw. All right, I don't really have an an obligation to encourage people to stick around, but I have a request, right, that must be adhered to, lest you want to something. I don't know. I have no fucking. This is a garbage, absolute garbage personality. I am. Have nothing of interest to say. Join along. Watch every video. Like, subscribe. All that shit. Okay, I have nothing to say. Let's just fucking draw. We're looking at a portrait. We're looking at a portrait. We're trying to encompass it in a box. We're trying to put it inside a sphere inside that box, and we're trying to visualize the center lines, horizontal and vertical, inside the sphere, inside the box. This is all being visualized. So yeah, and right now I'm just sticking to this one perspective on this page, and then after that I'll be trying to hold that visualization of those 3 layers of perspective and draw shapes over it, right? You might call them hard surface shapes, but yeah, simple shapes, boxes, cylinders, right? Cutouts, angles, all that shit. It's extremely difficult, yes. And if you're wondering what the point of that is to build a foundational layer to always fall back on when we are trying to draw a portrait from imagination or just drawing anything. Like spatial reasoning is the end all be all of draftsmanship, which is the skill I aim to have, right? I should have spaced these out more because now this is going to be it's like a little bit too much space. But anyways, draw along or fuck off my channel, watch every video, same shit, right? So with that being said, I'm really gonna focus on my line work because my line work definitely needs improvement. And again, I'm already thinking while I'm talking, and that's a skill. It's a very difficult skill, but a skill nonetheless, right? Thinking and talking while drawing in my mind, of course. So I need to internalize what this shape is. And like while I draw this, I need to obviously constantly try to have that perfect sphere, that perfect circle in my mind be encompassed. And I think it's roughly like this. And this angle that I'm drawing in where I'm pulling my finger in is extremely fucking difficult. This is actually a bit off perspective. That angle is much more accurate. So I already fucked it up, right? It's inaccurate like this. It's just a larger version of that. But I'm trying extremely hard to think about the box, the sphere inside the box, and the center lines inside the sphere inside the box. Like genuinely trying really hard. And while I draw these lines, obviously it flickers in and out because holding spatial reasoning skills is also a skill, right? Every little thing that is involved in enacting the final thing, which in this case is like, oh fuck, oh no, god damn it, my pen cap every time. The pen cap lore deepens. How many hundreds of times until he dies will he drop it? We're already probably at least a couple hundred. But yeah, holding spatial reasoning skills in your mind, right? And even this, like where I'm doing it in a tilted box, that's extremely difficult because I'm trying to hold a perfect sphere. And I don't even, you can see I'm ghosting. What I'm ghosting isn't even a perfect sphere. But that just means that I didn't create a box sizable enough in perfect proportions to hold it accurately. And look, I missed. You see that? I missed. So that's a mistake, and that happens constantly, and that's learning. This line, too thick, too inconsistent, too inaccurate. Pen pressure sensitivity and non-existent, right? But we stay vibing, so just gotta keep going. But yeah, and this is my second session of the day, so I'm gonna obviously, as always, do my fucking best to grind the fuck out of my brain, but it's difficult because my brain is so preoccupied on seeing that sphere and that perfect circle and making these lines accurate that I completely forget to think about the center lines, right? That happens, but I'm gonna keep trying. At the end of the day, that's all I can do is while I draw these lines on top of the space that I'm creating, I have to constantly keep visualizing and calculating and refining and visualizing, and while I'm talking, it's a skill extremely difficult, and my line went to shit, right? It's constantly making an effort to not lose the perspective or the visualization that I'm trying so hard to maintain, but I just lost it again, right? So it just keeps happening and it keeps happening, and then over hundreds of hours you get slightly better and better and better, at least if you're average or slightly below average like I am. Like it's a good reality. Some might say it's a harsh reality, but I would rather build the work ethic of a god with zero natural ability than have all the natural ability in the world with zero work ethic. Personally, I would like that. There may be many of you, possible, who knows, in this day and age especially, there may be a decent amount of you who will find that fruitless and be like, I just want everything handed to me. I just want the natural ability. And I was like that too. I was like that too for a very long time. I fucking, even nowadays when I watch anime, I've been in my fucking isekai power fantasy phase where the guy just pulls up in the goddamn in the other world, right, reincarnated, and he's just OP. I love that shit. Everybody loves a power fantasy, or like a lot of guys do especially. But the real power fantasy is building the power in real life, which are the skills that will carry you till your death, right? Like that is what I have interpreted and internalized as what I would want as my power fantasy, right? And that just requires work. Like it's just work, you know? That's the beautiful part. Is like it doesn't require anything else but just sheer effort and work. And everybody is, oh fuck, I made that nostril too big. And again, I completely lost the perspective because now, not only while am I talking about bullshit, so I'm talking, which is a skill, but I'm also drawing features, right? Not like anything incredible, but I'm drawing features while trying to retain everything I just said. And what am I trying to retain? Like when I say center line, I mean this, right? Like this. That's actually pretty off. See? So that's off. So it's like more like this, right? When I say center line, I mean this. This is super subtle, like incredibly so, right? And that's basically just this plane and the ellipse that's inside of it, and then projecting it outward to the curved, the contour of the curve that is a sphere, right? So like if we're going to make it so, oh, like this is part of a sphere, right? Like a perfect circle, then it's like this is actually where it's projected outwards, right? Because it's expanding. It's expanding outward to meet that. And again, while I'm trying to do all of this, I also have to make sure my lines are relatively clean, right? My lines aren't dog shit, which right now they are. But again, like now that I'm doing this, it's back to like, oh, focus on your lines, but good job. You just lost the perspective, right? So extremely difficult, especially because now that this pen is essentially back in the sense that like it's actually accurately the ink flow is occurring, I have to really focus on making sure my lines are actually pretty decent as well, right? Like once the pen starts to run out, obviously that's a different story, but even then, like that doesn't mean I just stop trying. I'm just speaking random bullshit right now, but either way, like doing this has completely detracted me. See, and I keep making that mistake where this one, it's not a line, the bottom isn't a line, so I have to be aware of that. And a lot of understanding mistakes is awareness, right? So because my mind is so fucking preoccupied with seeing this center line and the sphere, the perfect sphere inside of it, that like the cognitive energy is being spent towards only a couple things, so everything else is being forsaken because of it. Right? In lieu of it. Some shit like that. But still slowly but surely we get better, you know? And I'm just trying to think right now. I think there's a shadow there. And then now this man's lippies, them succulent rips. Anyways, let's see. Again, really gotta keep that perspective in mind. Again, like while I draw these lips, anytime I'm drawing features, or just anything over like this, it's a constant effort, like genuinely just a constant effort to not lose the perspective, especially because I'm really focused on my lines as well. And let's see, okay. And I have lost the perspective completely, and I'm trying so hard right now. I can't tell you like how hard I'm trying to constantly keep calculating the sphere inside this box and the center lines inside the sphere inside the box. Like it's, while having to divert my attention and ensure that my attention is focused on what I'm actually drawing in front of me, you know? Very difficult, but it's like every time, it's the main goal right now is just keep trying to hold it for a little bit longer. Oof, bless me. Oh yeah. There's a Tony the Tiger, right? I swear sometimes I'm like almost guaranteed people will just unsub because they're like, this is fucking disgusting, this guy burps too much. Well, I challenged that notion and I said, you don't burp enough, my good sir or madam. Fucking step your goddamn game up. Alright, my sister burps like a goddamn lion. So, I don't know how lions actually burp, but still. And if she can do it, you can do it. That's what I always say, right? Growth mindset. But, okay, I'm gonna rest my brain. That was good effort, and then we'll be back to it, and then we'll draw another helmet thingamajiggy here. Right, hard surface shit, whatever. Yeah, so I love this angle. These subtle angles are actually the most difficult for me. Like completely like the most difficult because you barely see that top plane, right? We barely see the top plane. So my mind, because I've drawn this angle a lot more, right? Like more concrete like top planes. So having to do something like this, right? Or even more subtle like this is so fucking hard. You know, it's so goddamn difficult. And you can see like, oh, why are his lines clean here versus here? Because this angle is very difficult for me to draw, and so is this. But for some reason, like this, not some reason, it's just naturally, I'm inclined to draw angles much cleaner, or lines much cleaner in this angle, right? Which is why I don't actively chase that, because I'm already decent at that, you know? And look, we've created steps. Perspective, look at that. It's foreshortening. just as an aside. Ta-da! Look, it's like steps. There you go. I don't know what I was trying to prove there. I guess I just wanted to prove that perspective isn't everything when you build your ability, right? But even then, that's not the best example, but either way. But yeah, so the main thing is like the mistakes that I can recognize and feel good about and constantly like affirm and like work towards is like now, even now while I'm imagining this box and the sphere inside the box, A, I'm already having an incredibly difficult time imagining the sphere inside this box, but B, I keep thinking about an angle that's like this, like that's much more pronounced, right? Like that. I keep thinking about this, but this is the reality, right? Like this is the actual reality, like something super subtle, right? Like so I need to constantly make, like right now, I'm making an extreme effort to keep shifting it upwards, because naturally it'll be, it's like this, but to keep in my mind, be like, no, shift up, and that's the mistake, and that's where that's an opportunity where I can recognize that mistake and feel good about it. Is like, okay, it's the subtlety, and knowing that the subtlety is what's difficult for me is also really important, right? And now obviously the next step is just fucking think about the box and the sphere inside the box and the center lines and all that shit. And it is basically headache inducing in a sense. Like the more effort you put towards that, obviously the more friction in your mind occurs and the more it's really trying. And again, I'm literally explaining this. I'm talking while thinking about this, which is a skill, extremely difficult skill, to maintain a coherent line of thought while also trying to essentially project 3 layers of perspective, right? So essentially, it's like explaining that I'm practicing a very difficult spatial reasoning skill while practicing that extremely difficult spatial reasoning skill, right? That is very taxing on the mind and just, yeah, extremely difficult skill to think about. But yeah, like, see, my mind keeps doing this, it keeps doing that, right? So we just gotta keep shifting up, be like, no, you dumb bitch, you want to be more like this, right? And it's like, oh no, that's still wrong, we want to be more like that, right? So constantly trying to keep that in mind, and it's still making that mistake. But now it's like I really need to envision a perfect sphere, right? And try to design something, because that's another thing, is like already envisioning this sphere, not the fear. Yeah, there's always a little bit of fear when it comes to failure, but I'm past that. I feel joy. But and you can too. But anyways, but beyond just this extremely difficult skill of imagining 3 layers of perspective, Jesus Christ, my hand just spazzed out. What the fuck? I was like, oh, I can't even hold the pen anymore. But beyond that, now it's like design, which is why I'm trying to keep it relatively simple. Maybe these don't look that simple to you, but I'm trying to keep it based on just large shapes. And your brain, the brain in general, when it's exerting a lot of energy towards already something, to add another thing on top of that, which also requires a lot of brain energy, in this case design, it's like, okay, shapes, how to make the shapes look good, what are the ratios, are they going to cut this way, are they going to angle this way, what about like how are they going to be placed next to each other, how much repetition are we going to have, right? Design is encompassing all of that. It's like all these fucking hundreds of different angles and calculations and possibilities, right? While you have to kind of mix it in with intuition to make sure to kind of like vibe it out in a sense, because you've been trying to understand design like outside of just practicing it, or at least like I'm speaking for myself in that context, but I'm sure anybody who's trying to do design is trying to understand it in and out of the actual application, right? as with anything in any skill learning, like we do try to understand a little bit outside of the actual practice, but if we care about it beyond just the practice, right? Yeah, so that, like what I just said, all that to say is like I have to think about that, or I have to try to think about that while I'm trying to maintain this fucking intense layer of perspective, right? So yeah, it's fucking difficult. So now I have to think about, okay, well, what can I do? Really, what can I do to hopefully make it easier for me in a sense, right? And this is where I need to really think. This is where I'm like kind of setting these little markers for the sphere. Perhaps that's cheating, probably is cheating, but right now I need that crutch of having little guidelines, right? Obviously, the end all be all goal is to just be able to see the shit in my mind consistently with like god tier perspective vision, right? Visualization, all that shit. But I don't have that right now. It's gonna take a very long time to get there, years and years and years, right? So let's see. One thing I struggle with here clearly is like defining the center properly. So I need to define the center better. So we'll start with this. We will start with this. Not that this will be what it will ultimately end up being, but we'll start with this. Then I'll do something like this. And then I'll move it down here. And this is where I'm kind of being like, oh, I'm being intuitive and I'm ideating, right? But we'll start with that. And then we will, let's see, like I need to also establish where the sphere exists, right? I need to really establish where that sphere is. So maybe I can do something like this. And this will allow me to, first, let's do the super basic. Oh, look, I added a cylinder. Look at that line. Horrible, horrible line. Holy shit. Gotta keep working on that. Right? But yeah, so I'm obviously gonna move the sphere back a little bit. And let's see. Yeah, so insane struggle. Oof, this is very difficult. Okay, and then obviously I'm gonna project this perspective outward as much as possible. I need to hold this well too. Really, like, and again, like while I draw these tiny features, I completely lose kind of like the main plot, or it's easy to lose the main plot, right? But this is where we just have to keep reminding ourselves to hold it. And it's like funny, it's because like while I say that, I'm still losing it. But I try, I try. But either way, see, like that's a fuck up because I didn't account for what the fuck I'm doing here. Yeah, see, this is all, oh my god, okay, I'm losing everything. I need to take a step back and let's see, something like this, right? So yeah, let's bring it even further back and then we'll do something like this. And my lines are obviously a huge problem right now. Like genuinely, my lines are a huge problem right now, right? So it's okay because it's a good thing to know what the inadequacies are, right? Like what is needed to be worked on and what is not. But even then, like right now, I'm not exactly sure what the other side's gonna look like. And goddamn, my lines are really fucking ass. Holy shit, my lines are really fucking ass. So bad, holy fuck. It's so bad. But let's see. Because this is where I made the mistake before, where I didn't center it properly. So I really need to focus on centering it properly now. Or we don't see this on the other side. It's not jutting out that much, I don't believe. It's like a little bit. There you go. And we close this off. And again, really trying to see that perspective. But what else can be done? Right? Maybe something like this, actually. And then we have something that comes around, right? And we can follow the perspective, of course, and do something like this is, oh fuck, Jesus, this is jutting out, right? Then again, bring it down here to the middle, and this is jutting out. And then we can, let's see if that's the middle, right? Jutting out here. Let's see, bring it down here, and if we bring that out, that's the sphere. That's not bad, actually. Okay, I need to rest my brain because I can't see anything anymore, and I'm just kind of bullshitting. So, oh, that's so fucking difficult to see the goddamn sphere. But that's the main thing, is like, and clearly I have a tendency to get too caught up in the design, right? Like way too caught up in the design, but that's why. Yeah, I mean, that's why seeing the sphere is the most important thing to focus on right now in terms of like return on investment. ROI. But anyways, I'll be right back, and I encourage you to rest your brain as well. Wait, goddamn, my lines do not inspire confidence at all. But let's just keep. I think I understand a little bit of where I'm keeping that sphere. So I just need to. Okay, so I calculated this, and obviously I really need to focus on my lines. Of course, it's like the main thing. You can see how unconfident, just overall shit, my lines are. But either way, if this is, let me think about the sphere, let me think about the box, let's bring that back. The main thing is to have that perfect sphere sort of already existing, right? And then it's very subtle, but we'll bring it, there you go, that's my sphere, right? Oh shit, that's a bit too much, but either way, that should be okay. So if we have this, it's aligned over yonder, and this is the center, and then I'll bring it down here. This is a bit misaligned, so I'll have to, let's see. Well, I intended to do something else, but this is actually a little bit misaligned, and I'm really trying to hold that box in the sphere. In my mind, I'm fucking struggling like a motherfucker right now, but if we hold this sphere, no, see, like I made that sphere too big. Let's see, this is the perfect sphere that I'm holding it inside of. Okay, so that's where the box is encompassed. This is jutting out, so that's obviously something that's very difficult to understand, but we're gonna keep trying to understand, right? Because we have to understand that this is jutting out, and now, okay, if that's the center, I clearly made a mistake. So let's just close this, and let's, if this is around here, so again, I need to think about the overall perspective, right? That's the center that I've established, seemingly. Oof, this is really hard to figure out. It's good, lots of spatial reasoning. That's extremely difficult. But at the very least, I could do this, right? Something like this. Who knows? Very simple shape right now. Very simple. And you can see my lines are so unconfident. But, okay. So that's my fucking space that I've established. Okay, so now how do we connect these? How we can make this look decent? Well, here's how we can, I guess. Oh, these lines are so bad, but oh my god, that is actually so fucking disgusting. But just for the sake of having some sort of consistent design, There you go. And there you go. It's like form wrapping. Right? Some shit like that. Okay, so this is, oh, that's so off center. Holy shit, that's so off center. Now I love how I didn't see it before, and now I see it now that I've actually attached them. Holy fuck. But is it off center because I placed them incorrectly? Yes, I believe so. Oof, that is really bad. But what, okay, so what was the mistake I made here then? Because I thought I had it going pretty decently. This is my sphere. I thought I had it make sense, but I clearly did not. So what, because like look at that space. What the fuck? Is it again that I made the mistake of making this way too close together? Yeah, and then I expanded it. This should have been the edge if I wanted it to be the edge. Same shit, wow, I made the exact same mistake. Yeah, I think that's the same mistake that I made. But this is extremely difficult. We're just gonna have to cut out just for shits. This is the part where I'm not thinking, yay, I'm just being a lazy fucker, whatever. Okay, let's go back to thinking, because that's the most important part of drawing. Dude, my brain is actually hurting. I don't even know what's going on anymore. It's only been 26 minutes. This feels like an eon. Usually when I did this other part, like it felt like I was really trying, but let's just take a step back. Let's just take a step back and really try to visualize and understand what I'm doing and where I'm fucking up. Right? Is this correct? No, that's not correct either. But it's okay, I made the mistake now. Let's see, and then maybe I can keep thinking about the box. Damn, my lines are actually so shit. I mean, really actually nothing wrong with that because it's just an indicator that I need to get good. Right, I just need to get good. But it's insane how the pen is reminding me exactly how subpar I am. Oh, look at that, how subpar I am. This is at least going to be more centered, hopefully. There you go. So, oof. Okay, so I lost the perspective again. Oh, this is so difficult. Holy shit. By the way, I'm not upset. I'm just in extreme discomfort. Plus, I might have to take a shit. So who knows? Right? Is this making sense? Let's see. Why don't I try something like that? There you go. I mean, that I didn't really connect it properly, but I really didn't connect it properly. Design is so difficult. Design is so difficult. No idea what I'm doing. Okay, let's take a step back. Let's really try to think about that perspective again. That's all I can do. Let's just try to think about the perspective. It's pretty mediocre. Let's see, we can... Yeah, I need to slow down. Look how bad my lines are getting because I'm not slowing down. Whew, this is so hard. Holy shit. And I genuinely think I've fucked everything up. Is this it? Oh man, that was just so bad. This is just... I need to take it. I think for the next one, I'm just gonna focus on just really just form wrapping and understanding the center lines, because clearly right now my mind can't design anything. It can't do anything. It actually can't. I'm genuinely struggling really hard, and this is just... God damn, bro, that's so fucking hard. What the fuck is going on? think. I mean, the perspective isn't bad, but it's just in my lines. I think the biggest thing that's throwing me off is how fucking shit my lines are. And obviously my shape design is so uninspired, and oh, this is also off. Okay, there you go. At least that's a little bit better. It's more even. Fuck it, let's just add this here so it seems like, oh yeah, totally intentional. Right? And something like that maybe. And maybe can be done here. Just keep focusing on the perspective perhaps. And then we can maybe have a... Yeah, this is really difficult. I'm struggling so much. I can't even explain how much I'm struggling right now. And this all just looks really bad. Yeah, it just looks really bad. Objectively, it just... my mind can't design anything and I can barely see. Right, this is my sphere. That's my sphere. Okay, I fucked it up. And this just looks like ass. This actually just looks so fucking bad. So, next time, I need to take a step back and just stop fucking adding things. Should I even count this as the 11th rep, or should I just do one more? Okay, well, it's only been half an hour, so we're gonna cross this out, and I'm just gonna practice this exact angle again. My brain isn't, dude. I'm in so much discomfort. I like a pit in my stomach. I'm just struggling a lot right now. So I'm gonna take a step back, and I'll probably draw one thing here. Maybe if I can draw another thing here, or maybe I'll just do one thing here and just really focus. Because this is the perspective here actually was pretty consistent. I actually managed to have a pretty consistent... I think what it is I spent so much energy on maintaining this, which is what I wanted, right? Like maintaining the box of spheres out of the box in the center line, that when it came to ideating shapes, my mind could not think of anything, which makes sense because if we're gonna go by like the RAM, like the amount of resource allocation that was being put towards the tasks I was doing, it was 90% box, sphere inside the box, center lines inside the sphere inside the box, and then like 10% in terms of seemingly even just line quality and the shapes I was utilizing. Plus, I really think I have to take a shit. So I just feel uncomfortable there too. That pit in my stomach might just be a fucking giant shark waiting to happen. But anyways, I'm gonna rest my brain. And then, yeah, we're just gonna... 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, yeah, we're just gonna continue onwards with just trying to form wrap, right, shapes and just... Yeah, try to find that balance of just holding that shit in, but really... Not my actual shit, but holding the perspective in, the 3 layers. Anyways, and then like putting shapes around it. I feel as if this had good ideas, but the lack of line confidence, or just the subpar lines and the really shitty shapes messed with it. But I think there's something to what I was doing here in terms of the silhouette for sure. And obviously like this is inaccurate. Like again, I didn't create the right silhouette, and like I struggle with having that good sphere. There's a lot of things that are wrong, but I'm not gonna take this as we're not gonna bemoan. We're not gonna lament. We're not gonna use any other synonyms for those, right? We're not gonna look down on ourselves. We're gonna enjoy this and we're gonna rest. BRB. Cool. Also important to stay hydrated, so let's drink some water. Oh, delicioso. Now come on, vamonos. Everybody, let's draw. I know that we can do it. All right. Oh, she was Hispanic, but still, I just wanted to make that joke. Anyways. Yeah, I'm tired. Like, I think genuinely all the mental energy I've exerted the last hour, this one, and now this, it's crazy, but like it doesn't feel like much, right? But I mean, let me at least, maybe I can slow down and see my lines, just design an interesting shape. It's like contour manipulation. Like, so how do we even I want to see something. Like, how do I form blend? Because form blending is a nice skill, an important, very important skill. So if it's going along this contour, and then it's coming out, is it something like this? Right? Because it's basically two contours that are fighting with each other, right? I'm just adding an outline because maybe that'll make it look nicer, but it's very difficult. It's very difficult. That doesn't look that good. We'll ignore it. Anyways, back to just, let's try to keep things simple. Let's try to take our time, right? Because I think maybe I rushed this a bit too much. Usually I'm at the 40-minute mark when I finish this. So clearly I think I rushed it a bit too much. And the main thing is really just have a clear sphere, bars, but just see that sphere, right? See the box, see the sphere. Again, fuck it, just allocate all my mental energy towards that because that's still the greatest return on investment I can have right now. So, and again, like trying to make my lines decent. So let's design around that. And clearly the biggest thing is that I don't see, like I don't account for the center line properly, right? I wanted to and I tried to, and then I still made the mistake of not doing so. Because if I ended this here, maybe, right? Something like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure it out. We're gonna have to really try. And the question is like, okay, well, how much simpler can the shapes get? So let's try to make them even simpler, right? So let's see. And I'm really gonna try to keep the shapes as simple as possible, like genuinely as simple as possible. And then try to figure out a center line from there, right? So let's do the same concept what I did here, relatively, right? Yeah, so let's do the same concept. Still add a little diagonal, right? It's a little diagonal, same concept. But think about, because the main thing is like while I'm doing this, I don't think about the center line as much. So that's clearly what I do struggle with. So if I make this larger, if this is my center line, I've established this as my front plane, right? I've established it. I'm trying to establish it at least, right? I guess this is slightly off perspective, but it's what it is. But if this is my center line that I'm establishing right now, at least I'm focusing more on my lines too, which is good. Same concept, but try to make it even simpler. Let's see. So this is the center line that I'm establishing. And then, you know, because it is curving, right? The question now is like, I've established this as my center line. Now where, and again, like it is slightly off perspective, but actually this should be lower. That was a mistake on my end. We'll just have to follow it. So it's like, oh yes, intentional. But now I really have to think, like I really fucking have to think, because that's my center line, and I have to think about the front plane, right? Yeah, because side plane we got here, cool, whatever. This is probably still too curved, but it's okay. But this is my front plane. I've established this. Now, where is it condensed, right? Like where is the plane and where's my sphere? So I got to keep thinking about the sphere as well. So it really just comes down back to especially the box and the sphere inside the box, and like positioning it and then making sure what I draw is positioned accurately inside of it. So again, biggest return on investment is still going to be the box and the sphere inside the box, right? So now that I've tried to establish a center line, right? So maybe this will help as well, maybe. Now that I've tried to establish it, it's just about where's the end of the sphere, because that's what I struggle with. Where's the end of the sphere here, right? Like that's clearly the main thing that I'm struggling with a lot. Seemingly, right? I'd like to believe that that's... Oh, bro, I'm so hungry too. Maybe that's why I feel off too. I'm fucking hungry. I have to shit. Every reason apart from just lack of ability, right? We have to make sure that it's never just lack of ability. But And while I draw this, I have to really think about. So let's see. Okay, so where is my center line? That's my sphere. So is my sphere? The main thing, stuttering aside, is clearly like this is my box, right? That's my box. This is my sphere. So I think the main thing is like when I've established this as my center line, and yes, it is slightly off perspective compared to this, or like relatively, like this angle is like this, right? The reference is like that. I've done this, right? So, and same thing, like the bottom is like this. I've done this. So yes, it is slightly off. That doesn't mean that I can't keep this to be still very subtle, right? Like the top plane. I can still attempt to do that even though it is slightly off perspective. Like it's a notable difference when each side of the plane has a slight difference, right? It adds up. But the main thing is also, I made this way too curved, but the main thing is to think about what is the edge of this, right? Like what is the edge? You know, what am I establishing as the side of the sphere? And now my brain's really, really hurting because trying to keep a consistent sizing and to see the box, to still try to keep that consistent sizing, and especially of the sphere in proportion, is fucking with me quite a bit. So again, it's all about placing it in proportion with the sphere, right? And if I'm not doing that accurately, then there are issues that are being had. Now, again, that's why I have to think about that front plane again. I have to keep thinking about that front plane, keep thinking about that front plane, be like, okay, well, if that's what's happening, then this is probably the edge of my sphere. And if I can establish that, then if I can do something like, that's the size of the box, yeah, that's the side. Okay, so then if I can have something here that is, or like roughly here actually, it's being calculated. Again, that's too much curve, but if I could just calculate that with the box. Oh, this is very difficult. This is extremely fucking difficult. But this time it should be a bit easier. At least a bit more consistent. Okay, so obviously still too little curve, but now let's see. If I were to, okay, I'm gonna rest my brain because like it's hurting. But I'm gonna rest my brain. And I'm gonna obviously return and really try to get this center line thing down. Right? It's all a work in progress. But yeah, we're gonna really try and continue. I'll be back, and I encourage you to do so as well. Yeah, the hardest part right now is the consistency and the sizing of the proportion and retaining that sizing of the box and the sphere inside of it, while also ensuring that I can calculate, right? Obviously, because I'm still trying to calculate at the end of the day. So let's see. If that's what's happening here, then if I project this downward, and let's really try to make sure that I understand what I'm doing. And we're not going to end this at the sphere, so the sphere comes down here. I've relatively understood that. Right? So we're just going to... I think that should be... It's not that accurate, but it should be okay. Right? And then... Feels like... Yeah, definitely should have, because I have to make this angled, because if I didn't want to make it angled, I should have drawn it up first, like this, right? I don't know. This is so fucking hard. To be honest, I have no fucking idea, bro. This is so fucking... I'm drowning, Tonda. But... Let's see. Because this is like the edge of the plane that I've established, or I'm trying to establish, right? Yeah, this is extremely difficult, but I mean, that's a good thing at the end of the day. There you go. Okay, we have the edge of my sphere. Maybe it means something, maybe it doesn't, but we do have it, right? And why don't we do something like, again, like that, the diagonal, right? If this, we'll just follow this diagonal. And we'll make this a little bit larger, just a little bit. And we'll say, okay, on the other side, where is it coming out of? Because this is my center, right? And I have to respect that center this time. Like, this is my center, even though the perspective is opposite to that, right? I have to acknowledge that that's the center. And then, oh, fuck! Oh no! Okay, well, decisions have been made. Well, that was the edge of the plane, so thankfully it does work out. I just wanted to make sure I could at least do something. I don't know. I just wanted to make sure I could, like, confirm it for myself before just fucking full sending, but clearly that's not the case right now. And we will do something like this to reaffirm the perspective for ourselves. The perspective. Right? And see, that's pretty meh, but really, like, my head's fucking tilting like this, which is so annoying, because that's a bad habit I have, just because it's so difficult for me to retain perspective in my mind. And again, I lost the sphere, so I have to bring that sphere back while I do this. So fucking difficult. Holy shit. There you go. Again, I'm really not trying to complicate things right now. Like, genuinely, I just want to make sure that I understand. Okay, so this is obviously off-center. This is off-center. I've made this wrong, but that's okay, because, like, at least now I'm more aware that it's off-center, which is still a good thing, right? Same thing here. What do I want to do here? So I'll bring this back. Again, because this is my perspective, I need to focus on perhaps having something like this. And then, let's see, what... Well, that's a bit too close, but... Is this my perspective? No, that's way too much, but we have to commit. Right? And... Let's see. Okay, so what the fuck is going on? Holy shit, I can't think anymore. There you go. How about something like that? Right? And it's obviously, this is where the end of the sphere is. I'm much more certain now. But anyways, let's just continue this. Right? That's a bit off perspective as well, but we'll just call it a day by closing this off, because I'm not trying to commit to anything super intense. I'm really just trying to focus on the box, the sphere, the center lines, right? Like, that's the main thing. And I just saw it for a split second. I literally just saw all of it for a split second. So I need to try to tap into seeing that, all of it for a split second. Okay, I'm actually, like, in a little bit of a zone. I want to be very clear. I'm in a zone where my mind is sort of zoomed out. I just had it for like a little bit. So I need to try. So this is, I see how wrong this is now, because oddly enough, I'm in this zone. And I need to maintain this zone. Holy shit, what the fuck is this zone? He's beginning to believe. He's beginning to believe. Nope, never mind, he lost the belief. Fuck, he lost it all. It's gone. But yeah, for a second there, I actually did see, like, I genuinely did see what I think I wanted to see, which is the perspective and its alignment and all that shit. So that's pretty sick. Even now, I'm trying to get it back. Obviously, right? Because that is what I want, is to have it back. Now, I can actually maybe do something here. And I did lose the perspective, and I think this is actually inaccurate now. Like, this is actually pretty off. But yeah, like, it's definitely pretty off. Especially because, like, this is incorrect. But I did see it for a split second, so That's not bad. I mean, this is not following the contour of the sphere correctly. Like this, for sure, is not following it correctly. Definitely, it's too curved. And again, like this curve is incorrect. But I'm happy that I was able to see it just for a little bit. And let's see. Well, actually, this is incorrect too. It should be more like this. So I fucked that up. Let's just do that. There you go. Wow, that actually worked. And as always, just add another little thing like this. You know, a cylinder inside a cylinder. So inspired. Oh, wow, the line work. And this is where I can... It's something like this. Because if I just bring this out... And again, oh, my head's tilting again. Jesus Christ, I didn't even notice. But I did, thankfully. I actually did notice, which is good. And again, don't want to zoom in too much on what I'm doing. There you go. There you go. Well, that's actually incorrect. It's a bit off. It's a bit weird. Because my line work, again, needs a lot of work. Right? But it's starting to look a little bit better. Slowly. And then, okay, so I'm starting to see the... I saw basically... That's not bad. I mean, it's much smaller, but... I do have a little bit more consistency with this one, for sure. How long has it been? It's been 51 minutes. Maybe this will be a short video, right? Because that was definitely a grind on my brain. That's a bit more accurate. That's inaccurate too, damn. It's pretty inaccurate what I just did there. Because this was inaccurate. I should have made this more subtle, for sure. That's actually the main problem here, right? There, that's a little bit better as well. What else can be done? I don't know if there's really any way to unfuck the mistakes that I've made, but perhaps just kind of wrapping something over here, and then doing something like this maybe. And again, I lost the perspective again, so I need to do my best to not do that. Slowly but surely. Something like that, maybe. Yeah, see, the lines are actually one of the biggest things holding me back right now, like these lines. So, might be best just to practice some line work, but that's not really the point of this video anyways. I am trying, like I'm trying to keep my line work in mind, but it's very difficult, right? And like I made really bad shapes all around. It's funny like how I can go from this to this and not even understanding. But then again, you see how like when you put more mental effort towards the shapes, the perspective suffers, but when you put more effort towards the perspective, the shape suffers. But right now the biggest ROI, return on investment, is the perspective and keeping that in mind. And I think I did a pretty decent job here. Not amazing, but pretty decent, right? And I can even maybe do something like this. And it seems my lines suffer no matter what. So, and again, my head's tilting. Again, my head keeps fucking tilting to the, Jesus Christ, my neck, to the angle that's being applied, right? So it's one of those little things that I didn't even realize would get in the way of my art. Let's see. I don't really think that looks that good. I don't know. I'm just fucking padding for time, but it's probably best to just leave it. But yeah, what a difficult session. Holy shit, that's good. Like, that was actually extremely difficult. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna have to keep working at it. There's nothing else to be said, right? Like, very difficult, constantly trying to figure out. The lines now being incorrect is fucking with me as well. But if I just, like, I guess down here, if I just think about this perspective and then I try to keep it in mind. And just think about, and this is obviously on a much smaller scale, so you're gonna notice how it may be a little bit easier when it's on a smaller scale. But this is basically like the form wrapping that's going to teach me to keep this all in mind. And it's not even going to be that good. I want to be very clear, right? But it's like this is what it takes to just understand what am I looking at, right? Like what am I looking at and what is being wrapped, you know? And even then, this is not a perfect sphere. So you see how difficult that is? I lost it. I literally lost it so many times. Lost it so many fucking times. But like the goal is like I'm literally trying to see this basically, right? And then again, like this is also fucking with me, just the fact that it's wrapping around in this way. But look at that, it's not a perfect sphere. Look at that, look how difficult that is. Look at this. Oh, my brain. It's so hard. So this is kind of like, I do this a little bit in my spare time to reinforce the sphere, but it's so hard to be like, okay, now think about this wireframe as well when you're visualizing. It's like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, what do you take me for? Oof, look at those lines. Yeah, it's so difficult. It's so fucking difficult, right? And that's the point. Like, that's literally the point. You know, I could do one here again. We'll do it in a different perspective. I'll try to prove a point, but... Oh no, we'll do it in the same perspective. Fuck it. We'll just show it again. See, like, this is literally what I'm trying to do. And that's why I'm using this as kind of like my little crutch. Because it helps a little bit. But, again, like, we're trying to see a perfect sphere. Right? That was already inaccurate. But we're trying to see this. And then we're trying to draw on top of this wireframe, essentially. Right? And that's what fucks with me, is like, and then there's the other side that's like extremely foreshortened. This is already inaccurate to the perspective. But again, like, and then we also have to realize that there's a perfect sphere that's underlining all of this, which you also have to keep in mind while you draw. You know, it's just extremely difficult. And right now my lines are telling me to go fuck myself. I mean, maybe this is motivational because, you know, 5-10 years from now, you'll be like, holy shit, wow, his lines are really bad. Damn, and he actually did improve. Who would have fucking thought? But it's extremely difficult. See, and this is not a perfect circle again either. If I just do something like this, well, even though I tried my fucking hardest to hold a perfect circle in, right? Like this is not. And the thing is, like, even if I do create a perfect circle, right? Like right now, let's just say I did create my perfect circle, the perspective is off. Because look how much like this is wrapping way too around. So this was already off in the beginning. And this isn't a perfect circle either, but yeah, this is really difficult. And that's what I try to imagine, like this, but to the more simple extent, like this one, right? Where it's just like a one-line wireframe, right? With the circle around it, or this perfect sphere around it, and then the box inside of that. So very fucking difficult. This session just proved yet again, right? Like yesterday seemed to be pretty good, went decent. Today, like everything was just a fucking thumbs down. If you're gonna look at it objectively, like, oh, this all just looks like shit, right? But I'm putting so much effort in. So that's the main thing, right? I'm putting so much effort in to not be shit. This is 59 minutes. I'll let this be 59 minutes. Oh no, I didn't do the full hour, but that was extremely taxing on my brain. And yeah, maybe I'll practice some lines to really bring my control back. But at the same time, like this angle, you can see, look at that. Look how, when the pen absorbs it properly, look how bad these lines are and how they skip, right? And same person who drew this, by the way, where these lines look perhaps better, right? But there's a million things. There's a million fucking ways to improve. Even in just in terms of like the angle you use your goddamn your hand in when you draw a line, right? Like you see skipping, pen pressure control, consistency of the line. We're just gonna draw a bunch of circles. Maybe that's how I'm gonna use up the hour. Look, when I started this angle in general, look how thick the lines are. And that's not what I want, but that's what I'm getting because that's what I'm capable of right now. And we just simply strive to not, or like to improve that capability. Like again, I'll try it again. Try to subtly bring my finger a bit further away, right? Oh, I recognize now that even down there in that angle, oh, and over here, I struggle with control, right? And here, like everywhere, right? All while trying to keep my fingers very calm. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Fucking give him a little turban. Fuck it. It's like a candle now. Wee. Or is that a bomb? What the fuck? I just made a bomb. But yeah, it's all just constant effort. And like a day like this, you can be like, oh, I'm just shit. Wow, I haven't improved. You can be like, no, because you kept putting effort in, and you still put a lot of fucking effort in, right? Even though your lines were ass, even though you couldn't think of anything, even though visualizing was extremely difficult, you still tried. And now your brain, as long as you get your rest and you employ the spacing effect and all that good shit, you will learn. It's always like one step forward, two steps back, and then given enough time, fucking 100 steps forward because it compounds, right? Like I never thought I'd be able to do this after a few months, to be honest. Like I thought getting to that point, or even this point, like these are like the glimpses of what I can be capable of, right? And then like this is like a glimpse of what I could design, and then this is like a glimpse of like the consistency of the sphere that I could hold, right? And then over time they will blend together over months and months and months, right? And then that'll be my new baseline, and the lines will, be a slightly cleaner and slightly cleaner. But this is like a decade-long endeavor, lifetime endeavor, right? And yeah, it's hard to tell and be like, am I just gonna be doing this forever? Like I can't tell the improvement, but as long as you keep trying, there will be improvement, right? But the main thing right now is to hold the foundation, which is hold the box, the sphere inside the box, and the center lines inside the sphere inside the box. And yeah, this is just me reassuring myself and I guess informing you of what I'm thinking of more than anything. But the results and time will speak for themselves, so we can only focus on the effort. And with that being said, I hope you put a lot of effort in. And as always, fuck you for watching, keep drawing, and please don't give me money.